saw deep, dark brown fur, and I could also see the slope going back on the head itself.
What creature frightened scores of witnesses in Florida? Animal X investigates the weird world of animal mysteries. First to the Everglades and the hunt for a giant hairy beast, one with a peculiar odor.
For more than 150 years, there have been reports of a half-man, half-ape type creature stalking remote areas of Florida. Much attention has been focused on the Everglades in the south of the state, where in 1997, in 1 week alone, scores of people claimed to have seen a hairy, odorous beast. Could these parts be home to a secret species, one that goes by the name of the swamp or skunk ape?
He walks like a man, looks like an ape, but smells like a skunk.
It's another creature, it's a hominid, it's evolved right along with us, it's a biological creature.
Animal X travels to the Big Cypress National Preserve and the small settlement of Ochopee in the Florida Everglades to speak to some of the skunk ape witnesses of 1997. Ochopee Fire Chief Vince Doerr was driving along one of the many isolated roads in the preserve on July 21st, 1997, when he saw something cross his path. It was off-season in the Everglades, the temperature topping 100 degrees Fahrenheit, the humidity at 100%, the mosquitoes as thick as the air. Not a time for anyone to be outdoors. Vince stopped his car for a closer look. It just so happened his camera was handy.
I got out with my camera, adjusted it. I yelled at it. By then it was about 400 feet west of the road. It was taking a pretty good stride and a fast walk. Was not running, was not on 4, it was just on 2, upright. And it kind of turned, and then I snapped the picture that I have. And then I only took one shot, one picture. Watched it for a few minutes, got back in the truck, and continued on down to the station.
This is the image Doerr captured on film. When enhanced, it shows a brown figure walking away from him. Could it be the legendary skunk ape? The Sasquatch of the swamp? High up in his fire tower overlooking the area where he took the photograph, Doerr reflects on what the creature might have been.
No, I've never seen anything like it before. I've seen nearest thing, anything to it would be a bear, but bears, you know, they're on all 4. When they move any distance, they go down on 4. If I know what I know now, I would have run after and got closer shots, or, you know, but at that time I just snapped one shot. And a lot of people think that's odd. I said, well, that just shows you at the time, I just didn't think nothing true about it.
3 days before the Doerr incident, on July 18th, 1997, a busload of English tourists were sitting in air-conditioned comfort, leisurely taking in the sights of the Everglades. They watched as alligators floated by in swampland and exotic birds flew overhead. Suddenly, 2 children in the group pointed out something not on the regular sightseeing program.
And one of the boys said, "Bigfoot, Bigfoot." And he was looking over this way, and these trees over here. And it was just about here, we saw a creature standing on the edge of the bush there, and it took us by a complete surprise. It looked like a huge gorilla.
The sighting lasted just 3 seconds. Roland decided to investigate further.
Then when we recovered enough to put the vehicle in gear and drive to where I thought I saw it go into the bushes, I drove up and stopped. But it came out again about 50 feet in front of me this time, and this time it halfway loped across the road, and then instead turned around and went back into the bushes again. And I looked for it for a couple of minutes, but I couldn't find it, and the mosquitoes were horrific. So I said, to heck with it, got back in the van and took off.
Retired Florida police detective and private investigator Bob Smith, now living in Palmyra, Illinois, is a senior member of the BFRO, the Bigfoot Field Research Organization, an elite group of specialized research personnel based in the United States. Together with fellow BFRO curator Diane Stalking, Smith conducted a thorough and critical appraisal of witness reports from the 97 sightings based on his 20 years investigative experience. And their verdict.
The 97 sightings that happened down in Ochopee, Florida, were legitimate sightings as far as the BFRO has conceded. The witnesses saw something, and from the measurements and the data that was collected from that investigation, it was determined that it was definitely a skunk ape, Bigfoot.
It was either one creature moving back and forth, or it was a family of creatures. Because it's our understanding from history and reports that I've read, analysis, that these creatures actually move in a family group, contrary to 30 years ago when they were believed to be isolated individual creatures.
Extremely hot summer, very mild winter. A lot of mosquitoes, a lot of bugs, and they were probably moving out of the denser swamps where it's a lot hotter and trying to get into a better area that's easier to stay in.
The BFRO aren't the only interested party looking to prove the existence of the skunk. Longtime Ochopee resident David Sheely is determined in his attempts to provide proof of the existence of a creature he claims to have seen several times.
It cannot be just dismissed. There's definitely something. I believe it is a skunk ape. There's definitely something.
He's called for a $40,000 government grant to hunt for Florida's Bigfoot, and claims to have solid proof in the form of these castings that families of the ape live out in the wilderness.
I believe this is a juvenile skunk ape, a young one, and I believe this proves that there's more than one of these things in the Everglades. And based on sightings that I've gotten and reports, I estimate there's upwards 6 or more of these things in the Everglades region.
It's going to take undisputable physical evidence, in my opinion, to prove to the man on the street that we have an unknown species in the Everglades.
James McMullen, a former Vietnam veteran who has spent the past 20 years tracking another elusive creature, the Florida panther, says that indisputable evidence should be in the form of DNA, and right now, he's looking for it. McMullen's decision to jump on the skunk ape trail followed a sighting in the Everglades in August '97, turning him from skeptic to believer overnight.
I saw deep, dark brown fur. I didn't see his face, although I wish I could have. He was turned towards me. It wasn't a female because there was no breasts, so he had chest. And I could also see the slope, what people talk about the cone or the slope going back on the head itself.
With so many witness reports, is it possible to one day determine for sure whether families of the skunk ape do indeed exist? The BFRO say it's a difficult task.
Unless we can get out and actually start tagging them, there's no way to find out how many's in this state. It could be 5, it could be 500. No way of knowing.
The mysterious tales of the animal world continue to fascinate and perplex us. After all, it's said there are stranger things in heaven and earth than we can think of. You've just seen some of them on Animal X.